In the headlines, families in several eastern communities to enter safe new homes ahead of the new hurricane season. A dilemma for the West Dominica Children's Federation over abused children spending much more time with potential abusers at home. And college students cautioned alcohol is not the answer for coping with the COVID-19 crisis. I'm Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. Animez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
When you feel a sneeze or a cough coming, covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better. Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Away $40,000 in cash, oh, yeah. 2 bags of money plus a grand every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 or more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, an e-commerce company is looking to assist entrepreneurs who went out of business due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Julian Morris has that story.
This is the aim of iShop Caribbean, an e-commerce platform which targets growing businesses to help them further develop in the industry. Sales manager for iShop Caribbean, Leanne Letan, says the company has noticed a wider variety of organizations utilizing its services to maintain relevance during the COVID-19 crisis.
What we did not expect, and it came in so beautifully, was the ability to have been able to support our faith-based churches around the area who would have come on board to be able to receive donations and their sacrificial givings. The beauty of iShop Caribbean is that it's not limited to just products. it's provides the platform provides for services as well. So it doesn't matter what type of business that you'd like to run, the possibilities at iShop Caribbean are basically endless. It's very flexible.
Later assures entrepreneurs who want to use the e-platform to grow their business that they will begin to realize gains in a reasonable space of time.
Starting off a business is kind of tough. And you going along the business line, you'll realize that financial aid is just a small part in starting off a business. If you actually have the support of persons who have experience and who will be able to advise you and admonish you the way to grow your business, it helps a lot because they make years of experience available to you. So that makes your growth period shorter. It shortens your growth period and you're able to progress and be successful in a shorter space of time.
While many businesses have been forced to adapt to the changes brought on by COVID-19, iShop Caribbean has already been created to deal with this situation.
We have, at present, been able to provide us so much. And I only see us being able to tight-knit what already exists because of the way, but of also things and the environment in the commercial world is evolving, and so we would eventually have to evolve along with the times. So as things exist presently, I think we've been set up well enough to be able to handle for the near-distant future. So, but as I said, we'd be flexible enough to adjust should things change in the commercial environment.
In other developments, 150 families will be in safe housing by the time the new hurricane season begins in June. The Minister for Housing accompanied the Prime Minister on a tour of new housing facilities in the east of the country this week.
As you well know that we're now approaching hurricane season, and many of these buildings were built with the hurricane in mind. As you know that this part of the country received a serious beating from Maria. And we are ensuring now that the quality of housing would be able to withstand at least a Category 5 hurricane. So we just came from the east and now we're here in Granford. Also here in Granford, what is unique about this building is that we have constructed within that building a hurricane shelter. As you heard from the parliamentary representative, which will be able to hold anywhere between 50 and 60 people if it becomes necessary. But what we're ensuring now is that over 50 families from Granford can rest easy and sleep properly in the event that we are visited by hurricanes during this hurricane season. This building here will give us about 150 buildings, units that will be handed over before the hurricane season strikes. And that would include Granford, that would include La Plaine, that would include Dillis, and also include Grand Bay, I think, and Jimmet, and one or two other areas. So 150 units would be inhabited, or the residents would be indoors before the start of this hurricane season.
Mr. Austri says this means an additional 150 families will be spared the wrath of hurricanes.
This government continues to put the interests of the people before. We continue to demonstrate our commitment to promises made to the people of Dominica. We continue to demonstrate our commitment to the love for our people. We recognize and appreciate the fact that we live in difficult times, we live in troubled times, and so our people need a hands up, whether it's in housing, whether it's in health, education. Our people need to feel the government, and this government has left no stones unturned, nor have we deviated, nor are we making any apologies for the tremendous sums that we are spending to ensure that the people of Dominica are in fact very happy. So I'm looking forward to the handing over within the next 2 weeks of these units, and later down we'll be doing the Jimmets and the Grand Bays. And then we move into Roseau Central, where we have identified 3 locations for housing, and hoping that within the next couple of weeks we can start those. And so by the next hurricane season, all being well, that the people from Roseau Central will also be able to be placed into hurricane resilient homes.
Granford, Montjean and Rivière-Syrique will all benefit from the newly built housing units.
So thanks must go to the government of Dominica, especially to the Prime Minister for his thinking, for his vision. Granford, as you know, is on the eastern side and was seriously impacted after Hurricane Maria. And the apartments are going to make a big difference with housing for people, because with 64 families moving in, we are going to be able to help everyone during the hurricane season. In addition to the 64 units, we also have a hurricane shelter right in the building, and it should be able to house maybe about 50 people quite comfortably. So when you look at it, we are ready in the event of any disaster, in the event of any hurricane, then we are ready to house the people in the community.
In related news, over 60 families in the Dalis area are expected to be in a much safer position in terms of housing this hurricane season. Prime Minister Skerrit has just made a site visit of the nearly completed housing project, for which beneficiaries will receive keys shortly. 33 of the units are ready for handing over within the next 2 weeks. Another 31 units are expected to be ready for handing over in 4 weeks' time.
Especially as the hurricane season is coming up, you know, housing is very important for the safety and welfare and well-being of our citizens. And this is why we've been placing a lot of emphasis on housing. So, coming this hurricane season, some 65 families will certainly be away from a vulnerable housing situation. In this building, there's also space, accommodation for a hurricane shelter or even a community center that both residents and villagers could have access to in the event of a hurricane. And this is what we're seeking to do in most of these communities, to have a safe space for the community residents and so on in the event of a natural disaster, because hurricane shelters is always a challenge for many villages like Dalis and so forth. So I'm very happy to be here with the PAL Rep, Honorable Edwards, and the Minister for Housing, visiting these housing units to ensure that our promises to the people are kept, and that we can push the project a little bit faster to minimize the anxieties of the residents. This is not the end of what we're doing here in this constituency where housing is concerned. There are still some families who will need assistance in improving their housing. So far we've built through this particular housing initiative 126 residences, and in addition to that we've built a number of homes on people's private lands, and so this will certainly continue. There are a number of very important projects also we'll be doing there. The roads, we have to continue to improve the roads. The playing field will be looked at in Dalis. And this is a community that has had its own challenges in natural disasters and of course with this recent coronavirus. But it's a safe village to visit. It's a wonderful community. And I wanted to come myself to meet with the residents and to ensure that the promises which the government, the party has made to them, you know, certainly can be fulfilled. And I'm very, very pleased with what's happening there, and I want to commend the guidance and the leadership of the PAL Rep for ensuring that the government continues to deliver to the people of his constituency. This has been a major source of employment for many people in this constituency, and so we look forward to handing over the keys very soon to the potential beneficiaries.
The police have and continue to play a key role in Dominica's success so far in minimizing the spread of COVID-19. 14 out of a total of 16 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Dominica have recovered so far, and by the 3rd of May, there were only 2 active cases. The country is about to embark on community testing, which is one of the steps required before reopening of the country's borders comes up for consideration. The deputy police chief says while law enforcement has played a pivotal role and done so effectively, the job is far from over.
There is no restriction on some of these measures, will allow citizens and businesses more latitude to function. It is not intended to give the impression that COVID-19 is no longer a threat. We are not out of the woods, and we are reminded daily that our neighbors are still recording active cases of the virus. We therefore must not drop our guard and become complacent. I must inform that we have intensified our patrols both on land and sea, and will continue to maintain our various checkpoints.
Restrictions to travel remain in place and all ports remain closed.
In previous briefs, I warned boat owners and boat captains, as well as our citizens, to desist on entering or leaving the state through ports that are not designated as such. I also indicated that this practice poses a major threat to the security of the state and could undermine all the efforts of the Ministry of Health. I again warn these lawbreakers to cease and desist from this illegal, selfish activity.
Bus drivers are only allowed 2 passengers per row, provided passengers are wearing masks.
Drivers of public service vehicles who breach the order risk being fined. And additionally, police officers have been instructed to remove people from these vehicles who refuse or fail to adhere to the measures. It means, therefore, you may find yourself stranded in a remote area, and the bus driver also faces the possibility of losing income. So just comply to the simple measures and avoid the embarrassment.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
With Flow, when I bag our money, cash out. Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
Yo, check this. Flow is giving away $30,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah.
2 bags of money plus $1,000 every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making Fridays great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you wanna win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
When you feel a sneeze or a cough coming, covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. And il mettez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better. A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
Welcome back. Dominica State College students being discouraged from turning to drugs and alcohol as coping mechanisms during the COVID-19 crisis. The word from Counselor, the State College, Frederica James, who acknowledges that the country's response measures to the coronavirus outbreak is having an impact on some students. Students and the wider public are being cautioned not to turn to drugs and alcohol as a means of dealing with COVID-19 related problems.
When we take alcohol, drugs, it makes us feel free. It releases, it's a fun, loving thing. It's a social game, like I call it. However, alcohol is also known as the liquid courage. Alcohol takes away our inhibition. It depresses that inhibition. And that's why you hear people say, Mr. is so quiet. And no, because he take too little rum. See how he's getting on. It gives us too much courage. And if we take alcohol to deal with that situation, when we get back to normal, when we're no longer tipsy and feeling good and feeling nice, then the problem is still there.
While some studies show it is okay to have a glass or two of alcohol a day, the State College Counselor advises it's safer not to drink alcohol if an individual has trouble exercising self-control.
I believe we should not, because what happens to alcohol, you take one, you want two, you want three, you want four, and you go down the line. And to make bad matters worse, we're there alone, we're at home, even with our few family members, and we'll be more tempted. So the thought is, if you cannot control it and stop at two, please leave it alone.
And a hands-tied situation is how the West Dominica Children's Federation is describing its inability to help children in need during the COVID-19 pandemic. Julian Morris has that story.
The pandemic brought with it the need for social or physical distancing, emphasizing that people should maintain their space from each other in order to minimize the spread of the disease. Physical distancing led to the closure of schools, which presents a problem for children in abusive households. Coordinator of the West Dominica Children's Federation, Beverly Barron, says the inability to help children in need is challenging for the organization.
We're very concerned and we're very saddened by it. We feel like it's almost like our hands are tied. There's not much we can do to assist them. We can only advise the parents, or even sometimes it's a case where it's the mother who can help them to remove them from the situation. We hope with the different parenting sessions that we've held, or with the different advice that we've given, that they're now more aware of how they can help themselves and their children to come out of the abusive situation.
The WDCF coordinator is urging adults to play their part by calling on family members and neighbors to assist in this regard.
Right now, we're hoping that they will do whatever they can to maybe not have the child be in the presence of the person who is abusing them. They need to be calling on family members, to calling on neighbors, seeing how the neighbors can maybe, if they can ask the children to stay by the neighbor, just stay out of the direct line of the person who is the abuser. It's like I said, that we feel like our hands are tied because normally after a disaster or an event, we would be able in the communities to have a safe space for children to come to during the day, like at least for a few hours. But in this situation, we cannot have them gather.
Unfortunately, no direct communication strategy has been in place to target these individuals, but the Federation does have a plan on the cards.
Down the road, in a few weeks or months or whatever, we will seek to go on to the radio programs and give some advice in terms of how we can help these people who are in abusive situation, who are in homes where they need rescue from. At the moment, we're just trying to ask them to do what they can to lessen the abuse.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
With Flow, when a bag of money cash out, get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
Yo, check this. Flow is giving away $30,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah.
2 bags of money plus $1,000 every Friday.
With Flow is better every day, and now we're making parties great. That's 3 ways that you can play. So listen up.
Top up.
$10 more.
Sign up.
Just switch to Flow.
Get a plan.
1 gig or more. If you want to win cash galore.
With Flow.
Win a bag of money.
Cash out.
Get a bag of money. What you gonna do with a bag of money? Yeah. From Flow.
So top up, get a plan, or switch now to win. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Avec Flow, gagnez l'argent, on partit l'argent avec Flow. Gagnez l'argent, on gros sac l'argent. C'est juste ça pour gagner un gros sac l'argent avec Flow. And mettez on top up, sign up, quittez yo, et venez joindre Flow. It only gets better with Flow.
Flow terms and conditions apply.
To end the news, the headlines again. Families in several eastern communities to enter safe new homes ahead of the new hurricane season. A dilemma for the West Dominica Children's Federation over abused children spending much more time with potential abusers at home. And college students cautioned alcohol is not the answer to coping with the COVID-19 crisis. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow.